Hey friends, here is a video where we will discuss the Core to Force eating plan. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Since this is a brand new program, I have yet to receive my materials. I just ordered them the other day. So I am going to step through the eating plan on Beachbody On Demand. Okay, so I already went into Beachbody On Demand and pulled up the eating plan. So I want you to take a look at this so that you can understand the eating plan. We'll talk about this a lot in the group, but really your results, 80% is going to come from your nutrition. So you can do all the workouts, you can do an awesome job there, but if you're not following the eating plan, you're probably not going to get results at the end of the 30 days. So this is super important for you to understand and commit to. All right, so we're going to start out, if you have done any Beachbody program in the last year or two, this is going to be very similar to the plan for 21 Day Fix. So it has the same color-coded containers. There's just a couple little differences in this nutrition plan. Okay, so if you scroll through, there's a little intro, and basically the main difference, you're gonna do your calculation to get your calorie target and your container amounts, but each week it's gonna change a little bit. So I wanna make sure you understand that. So we'll scroll down to page 1 where it has the calculation for your calorie target. Okay, so I want you to enter your current weight and do the calculation here to get your calorie target for the program. Now this program was designed for weight loss, so that calorie target at the end is going to be what you're going to use if your goal is weight loss. If you've already reached your goal weight and you're just looking to maintain and work on your fitness, you're going to want to take off what you're putting for the calorie deficit and use this block that says maintenance calories. That's the number you're going to want to go with if your goal is not losing weight. Or if, say, you go through a couple rounds of this program and you reach your ideal weight, then this is the number you would go to for maintaining going forward. Okay. So you're going to get your calorie target, and then you're going to go down to this little chart and figure out if you're plan A, plan B, plan C, or plan D. Okay. And then from there, you will go down to the next page where you come to this chart and you'll see how many containers you get each day. Okay, so the food you're going to be eating while you do Core to Force is broken down into 7 different categories. Green is veggies, purple is fruit, red is protein, yellow is carbs, blue is healthy fat, orange is seeds and dressings, and then teaspoons are for oils and nut butters. Okay, so what you're going to be eating is broken down into those categories. Take a look if you're plan A, plan B, plan C, write down how many containers you get per day. This is your baseline eating plan. This is what you're going to eat for week 1. Now in week 2, which I will definitely give you a reminder, we are going to add 1 purple container. Okay, so part of this plan, as your workouts get more intense, we're going to strategically increase our calories so that we're keeping our metabolism burning fat. Okay, so in week 2, we're going to add a purple container. In week 3, we're going to add a purple container and a blue, a healthy fat. And then in week 4, we are going to drop back down to our baseline plan. Okay, so follow the plan. It works. All right. So calculate your baseline plan, write down your container counts here. And basically this plan is broken down. It's about 40% carbs, 30% protein, 30% fat, just to give you an idea. Okay, so next on here, they give you some sample menus. Okay, and I think it's for if somebody is following plan A. They give you a sample menu for week 1. I always like reading through all these because it just gives you some ideas. A lot of the stuff is simple, but it just gives you an idea of how you could put together a whole day of eating and follow the plan. Okay, so there's a sample for week 1, a sample for week 2, and a sample for week 3, okay? Next we get to on page 10 is a list of all the food groups, okay? So we're gonna start, it starts with purple, which is your fruit. Something I want to explain if you're new to this eating is when you go to say the list for the purple, all of the foods are listed and ranked in order of the nutritional value. So things higher on the list are going to be better for you. Things lower on the list don't have as much nutrient density, okay? So if you take a look at the purples, at the fruits, at the top of your list are going to be all your berries. Raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries. Really great nutrients there and the lower sugar content compared to other fruits. So if you're looking for, say, the best bang for your buck, stick with the berries, okay? Now, that's not to say you want to get variety in your diet and eat different things all the time, but it kind of is just teaching you out of every food category where you're going to get the most nutrients from, all right? So first is fruits, purples. That's pretty self-explanatory, but take a look. Not everything is just the purple container. For instance, if you're having a banana, a purple container equivalent or a purple serving would be half a banana. You don't get the whole banana because bananas are higher in sugar, okay? So take a look at this list and find out what your serving size is, okay? Next on the list is veggies. I personally think, I know these are ranked, but I think any veggie is good for you. So take a look at your veggies here. This is pretty self-explanatory as well, but also note that there's some different serving sizes on there. It's not always a green container. Next is protein, which is your red, and these are definitely going to be listed the best proteins for your eating plan. So it's going to be lean cuts of meat, fish, eggs, some Greek yogurt. Shakeology is a red. Now it does down here, if you buy any deli meat, this plan does include turkey slices and ham slices, but you want to look for low sodium, nitrate-free, minimally processed turkey or ham. Some good places for that, Earth Fare carries a really good brand of deli meat that doesn't have any nitrates or nitrites. Fisher Foods has a Fumans brand that also carries some natural meats there. So just a note, I know sometimes that's something that's a quick lunch for people. Then protein powder is on here, turkey bacon, but again, you want to look for nitrate-free, nitrite-free. You can find those same place, Earth Fare. I get turkey bacon at Earth Fare. BJ's carries it as well, all right? Next is carbs. This is a tricky one. I know a lot of people love their carbs. I'm one of them as well. Carbs are your yellow. This is usually the hardest thing for people to cut back on because most people eat way too many carbs. This is also really important to look at the list here. When you look at the top of the list, you're going to see sweet potato, yams, quinoa, beans, lentils, brown rice, wild rice. Those kind of things are going to be your best carbs. They're going to be the most filling. I find those are typically the ones that don't bother my stomach as far as just eating, you know, different things at the lower of the list, say like crackers, cereal, whole grain bread, whole grain waffles. All those things are on there, but that's not, if you're focusing at the bottom of a list, you're not going to get as much nutrients down there. Something to note when you're looking at the yellow list, some of the things on there, corn falls under a yellow, and so do peas. So just, I want to point that out because those are very starchy vegetables. Next is healthy fats. It's really important. I know a lot of people think that fat is bad for you when you're trying to lose fat, but you really need to incorporate good, healthy fat throughout the day. So under the blue container, some of your healthy fats are going to be here. Some of them are going to be in the orange container. Some of them are going to be the teaspoons. But under the blue serving, it's going to be things like avocado, which is really great to incorporate in your diet. Whole raw nuts, almonds, cashews, peanuts, pistachios, walnuts, all of that is under here. Hummus is something that's really good to have too. And then your cheeses are on this list as well. I love my blue containers. Okay, next is seeds and dressings. This is the orange container, so this is the small one. Pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, flaxseed, olives go under here, coconut, and then dressings. One of the great things about all the eating plans is there's recipes in the back of the eating plan book, and they have really great dressing recipes. So most of the dressings you buy at the grocery store have a bunch of added sugar and fat and hydrogenated oils and just junky stuff in them. So I encourage you to take some time experimenting with the recipes because there's some really simple dressings that you can make. And then finally is the oils and nut butters. This is under the teaspoon. So olive oil is great to have in your diet. Coconut oil is great to have in your diet. Nut butters like peanut butter, almond butter, cashew butter. I buy for peanut butter and almond butter, I get an organic brand that doesn't have any sugar or salt added to it. So always look at the ingredients list and try to find things that don't have added sugar because it's in a lot of things. New to this list versus other portion fix plans I've used before, butter is on here, which I love my butter. Mayonnaise is on here as well. So the last three on the list, butter, ghee, and mayonnaise, those are new to the list, but incorporated here. Okay, so those are the food containers. So take a look. It's going to take a little practice, but you will get it. But take a look and understand. Anytime you're wondering if you have a recipe or you're making something and you're not sure which container it should fall under, just shoot me a quick message and I'd be happy to help. Next on, let's see, page 17 is your free foods. Okay, so there are certain things you don't have to count under your containers if you're looking to spice up some of the things that you're eating. So lemon, lime juice, freshly squeezed, you can use to flavor different things, vinegars, mustard, herbs, spices, garlic. So sometimes if you feel like something's a little bit bland, you can add these. Also flavor extracts, I use those sometimes if I'm making coffee. So pure vanilla extract, or I have a caramel extract. There's a couple different extracts that you can use to flavor some things. Next on the list is it talks about water and gives you some ideas for how to flavor your water if you're having trouble just drinking plain water all the time. Also take a look at the bottom of page 18. There is a note about unsweetened almond milk. A lot of clients I have like to put that in their Shakeology, fruit juice, and coconut water. So up to 3 times a week, you can replace one of your yellow containers with a serving of one of these things. So that just tells you how to account for it. Doesn't mean you have to use the whole yellow container. If you only want 4 ounces for your shake, then just count that as a fraction of a yellow container. Next is coffee and tea. So take a look at this page, page 19. On how you can drink your coffee or tea if that's something you have daily. And then next are the food trackers. So you can use this if you're planning out your meals, if you're tracking what you're doing throughout the day. There's also a printable version of this if you go back in Beachbody On Demand that you can use. And then take a look at page 22. Is that what we're on? Yeah, page 22. There's a couple notes here when you first start a new workout program and you don't see the scale move, or you're hungry, or you're tired. Here are some tips on how to address those issues. So I always like when they add in little tips in these booklets. And then next, there are some notes about if you want to use the Beachbody Performance line. I personally have been using those supplements for over the past year and highly recommend them if you're looking into anything like that. I do have some samples of them if you ever want to try. But there's a pre-workout drink called Energize. There's a drink for during your workout called Hydrate, which is a healthier version of something like Gatorade or Powerade. There's Recover, which is for right after your workout, which works amazing if you're dealing with soreness. And then there's Recharge, which is at nighttime, which also works on muscle recovery. So if you're ever curious on trying any of those, let me know and I can send you a sample. I personally really like to use Energize before my workouts because I get up, you know, at 5:30 or so. So I really like to have Energize before my workouts. I use Hydrate for longer workouts, especially when I'm out running. That's my drink of choice, Hydrate and water. And for a really long time, I was using Recover. It works amazing. But right now I've been trying to cut back on, that uses a whey protein in it. And I've been trying to cut back on whey and dairy because it seems to bother my system a little bit. Recharge is good too. I've used that. Both of those, Recover and Recharge, they work. I've never been a fan of supplements, but this line is really great. And there's nothing artificial in it, which is the only reason why I would suggest it. Then we get to some recipes. Okay, so if you keep scrolling on page 28, the recipes start. There's a note in here next to the recipes in here. If there's this little orange F, it means these are great recipes to have about 2 to 3 hours before your workout to fuel up. And the ones marked with an R are really good for a post-workout recovery meal. So take a look at that. So we start, there's some ideas for breakfast, lunch, dinner. So scroll through. The recipes are on page 28 to 43. So there's a whole bunch in here. Most of the time, it's really simple ingredients. That just gives you some ideas of how you can stick to the plan and not feel like you're just eating the same boring thing all the time. Okay, so as we scroll through, take a look at all these. Next on the list will be dressings, I believe. Here's some snacks. Okay, then we get to dressings and sauces. Like I mentioned before, most of these are going to be an orange container. They have some really great recipes, so I encourage you to experiment and try these. Simple stuff you can make at home. So there's a balsamic vinaigrette, there's a mango lime dressing, that sounds really good. A maple barbecue sauce, I'm definitely going to try this one because I'm in search for a good barbecue sauce I can make. And then next we get to some Shakeology recipes. There's recipes in here. There should be recipes that came in your box as well. You can go to my Shakeology website for more recipes and search by what flavor you have. There's tons of recipe ideas you can try for Shakeology. And if you are struggling with that at all or want some ideas, just send me a note. Okay. And I think that is it. At the very back on page 54, there's a note about the Beachbody Challenge and a website that you can go to. Just to let you know, since we're doing this as a test group, I want you to take your before pictures and measurements, and then at the end of the 30 days, we'll do it as well. You send that into Beachbody, just your before and after photos, your measurements, and kind of like a little blurb about the program, your experience with it. They will send you a free t-shirt, which is awesome. And then they are constantly pulling winners. There's $500 winners, then there's $1,000 winners, and then all the way up to grand prize winners at the end of the year. So it's an awesome thing to do. I always encourage all my clients to do it. Might as well get a free shirt for completing your program. Okay, so that's it. I'm sorry this video was a little bit long, but that is the eating plan. Take a look when your challenge pack comes. Get out the book, keep it with you as you are learning this eating plan and going along. And please, anytime you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always happy to help. All right, have a great day. Post below with any questions or comments.